going on, everybody? C4 here. Welcome back to the channel, and today we're here for a new Madden 22 realistic rebuild today with a very requested team, and that is the New England Patriots. We're going to start live, Week 7. They're currently sitting at 2-4, and I think, ushering out the Brady, Gronk type era, I don't know how many Patriot fans really expected this year to be super competitive. I think they spent a lot of money in free agency. Don't know the quality of all the contracts they threw around, but they are coming in here with Mac Jones, who luckily we're doing this rebuild now because he did not start Madden 22 with a dev trait. But Mac Jones has looked pretty promising, honestly. Looks like a guy that you can kind of build the team around. But there were some suspect contracts handed out. Aguilar, I mean, obviously I don't want to just rip on him because, I'm an Eagles fan. And things did not end well for Aguilar, but that was a lot of money for Nelson Aguilar, right? And then, you doubled up at the tight end spot with Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith. Has that paid immediate dividends? I think they've been solid. But they haven't really been the second coming of Gronk and Aaron Hernandez, have they? Kendrick Bourne got okay money. I mean, you have someone like N'Keal Harry, who you're still waiting for him to pan out potentially. And then you flip on the defensive side of the ball, and it is definitely a transitionary year, a year where they're getting out there in age a little bit. I mean, they got rid of Stephon Gilmore. He got shipped off to the Carolina Panthers. I don't really, we will find out, I'm sure, in this rebuild how tight the salary cap situation is. But just kind of surprised they didn't work out some sort of deal with Gilmore. Seems like he was too good to let go, but I'm going to guess that they picked maybe someone like J.C. Jackson, who's going to be looking for a payday, over someone that is aging and potentially on the decline in Stephon Gilmore. Hightower's on the wrong age, 30. Van Noy's a veteran at this point, and you might want to even consider someone like Uche, who has a dev trait, young player out of Michigan, maybe giving him more reps. I don't know. We're going to have to get creative, I think, with this lineup. But there are a lot of upside players. I think someone like J.C. Jackson, Chase Vinovich, Christian Barmore, the rookie with a dev trait, Kyle Duggar is going to be fairly solid. Don't know so much about Jalen Mills, the Green Goblin, but I mean, you throw that with Mac Jones, who's on the right side of, obviously he's a rookie. You throw that in with an offensive line that generally should be the offensive line for most of this rebuild. I think, Andrews and Mason are the veterans of the group, but they still should be pretty good come year 5. I think ultimately it's an interesting rebuild trying to remove this franchise from the shadow of Tom Brady, but I do think when all is said and done, at the end of these 5 years, we will find a way to win a Super Bowl. But before we get into the full-on team preview, let's give a shout out to today's video sponsor, Bounty Sports. Before we get into things, we got to give a big shout out to Bounty Sports for sponsoring today's video. Bounty Sports offers the most user-friendly betting site I think I've ever used. On Bounty Sports, players pick winning teams while competing against other fans for cash prizes. The entry fees range from as low as $1 and all the way up to $50 for the high rollers, with prize pools getting as large as up to $1,000. I think overall, what's attracted me to Bounty Sports is the low-risk entering to potentially big payouts. And with weekly NFL contests, over here, we're gonna try and secure the bag. Signing up for Bounty Sports is very easy. I've used sites before, very difficult. You gotta jump through hoops just to get in and get on the action. Not here with Bounty Sports. And then make sure right down there in the referral code, use my code BOUNTY4. Let's take a look at this week's NFL games and get in on the action. So this week, we got the $1,000 NFL Week 7 Pick'em, $5 entry fee, over $1,000 on the line. Let's get some good picks. Didn't win so much last week. Need to get back to our Week 1 form. So we have Carolina against the Giants. Give me the Panthers. Bengals, Ravens, Baltimore, even with all the injuries so hot right now. Jets, Patriots. Give me the Patriots. Chiefs, Titans is interesting. I think I'm going to go with the upset there with the Tennessee Titans. We have football team against the Packers. Give me the Packers. Falcons, Dolphins. I think we'll go Falcons. Eagles, Raiders. Eagles underdogs. Give me that all day long. I'll take Rams over the Lions in the Jared Goff revenge game. Bears against Bucks. Give me the Bucks. Texans, Cards. Give me the Cards. And then on the Sunday nighter, Colts and 49ers. North Dakota State battle. Give me in this one, honestly, I think Jimmy G's going to be back. Jimmy G's back. A lot more balance to the Niners. Give me the San Francisco 49ers. Let's enroll. Give me my grand. If you sign up using the link in the description with the code BOUNTY4, you'll get a free $5 credit to start winning today, and there's no strings attached. No minimum deposits, no payment info, just $5 to test the site out for yourself, and it doesn't get any more risk-free than that. Pick some winning teams this week, try and compete against me, and win some big prizes on Bounty Sports. All right, so let's take a look at this roster a little bit more in depth. Quarterback room, so we got Mac Jones. That is the plan for this rebuild, is to make Mac Jones into our franchise quarterback. Nothing else beyond that. For the running back room, that's where it gets a little bit more interesting. James White doesn't have a whole lot of upside in a rebuild. I think Damian Harris is interesting. 77 star dev, only 24. He's been solid, and I think there might be something there. Enough there anyways to let him be RB1. He's going to be one of those guys, though, that you really hope at some point gets a dev trade scenario because, you know, 77 star, 24. I'm stealing a ceiling of like 82, 83, unless he has some big seasons. But I do think the Patriots have a fairly good scheme for the running backs to be productive. They got Ramondre Stevenson, the rookie out of Oklahoma. He's solid. J.J. Taylor here, Brandon Bolden. But ultimately, I do think this is going to be Damian Harris's running back room, which is good. Wide receiver room, this is where the realistic rebuild comes in. I think we are going to try to target some of the big wide receivers in this draft. You got Aguilar, who was big last year for the Raiders and has been, you know, just a guy this year. Kendrick Bourne's been a little bit more solid, but again, kind of expensive for not a whole lot of upside, to be completely honest with you. You have Jacoby Myers, who might be the best of the bunch. 76, normal dev. Could be a good slot wide receiver. N'Keal Harry, I mean, again, I don't know what's really left there. It could be a trade target, potentially. But ultimately, there's not that guy. I'm not seeing wide receiver 1. I'm seeing guys that might be wide receiver 2s, most likely wide receiver 3. So that is the spot we really want to get better at. We have Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith here at tight end. They spent a lot of money investing at this spot. I think that's good. I mean, 26 for Hunter Henry, 26 for Jonnu Smith. They're both going to be decent parts of this rebuild. I'm going to be interested to see engage this year just how much in the sim we utilize the 2 tight ends because they're not getting used. I mean, you could probably move Jonnu Smith, convert him to wide receiver, 6'3", 250. It'd probably be more beneficial to this team at some point to maybe look at trading Jonnu Smith and you know, maybe a wide receiver, maybe going somewhere on the defense a little bit younger. But I will give him a chance. Let's see how the sim handles this. If both these guys can be productive, both these guys can get on the field a whole lot, we'll be good with it. Offensive line is really good. Isaiah Wynn, dev trade, 25, good. We have at left guard Michael Onwenu from Michigan, dev trait, 81 overall. We're good. We have the veteran in Andrews, the veteran in Shaq Mason, and Trent Brown, superstar, which kind of surprised still that superstar dev trait. But this offensive line, again, plan is to keep it all intact for the remainder of this rebuild. Defensively, a little less inspiring. We have 2 veterans here, Guy and Henry Anderson, Vinovich and Dietrich Weiss. I guess Vinovich with the dev trait has the most upside of the bunch. So hopefully he is productive for us at D-tackle. Godchow. We're going to go with the rookie Christian Barmore out of Alabama. I thought this was a really good pick. Maybe my favorite pick from the Patriots draft class. 72 with a hidden dev. I believe they got him in the 2nd round. He's an absolute beast. And we're going to get him day 1 starter reps to see if he can hit the ground running. Judon's been really, really good in real life for the Patriots. Been an outstanding signing getting him over from the Baltimore Ravens. Here's hoping he doesn't regress too bad and remains productive. I got Jennings here. I got Ronnie Perkins, the rookie out of Oklahoma. Some solid depth behind him. Inside, we got Hightower, the veteran. He's solid, but we're going to need his replacement eventually. Don't know if that's going to be Jawan Bentley. No dev trait there, but he will have a chance. At least year 1, year 2, he's going to be on the field a lot. Maybe a dev trait scenario. Maybe in terms of just getting total tackles in the offseason. There is some potential there. They got Tavai, former high pick from the Detroit Lions. But ultimately, I think this could low-key be another spot that we need to look at in the drafts at bringing in a beast at middle linebacker. Van Noy, good veteran by all means, but it is a little frustrating because you probably got to play him. But here you have 22-year-old Josh Uche, 75, same dev trait. You really want to be able to get him on the field. I don't know how creative we can get here. I think that obviously they play that weird front. You could have Judon at 275, kick down to defensive. If you're rocking and rolling with Vinovich at D end at 250, you could probably move Judon to the other D end spot, and then that frees up Van Noy on one side, Josh Uche on the other. Maybe we'll explore that. Into the secondary, we have J.C. Jackson, who's looking to get a brand new contract, and because we pretty much picked him, or the Patriots picked him over Stephon Gilmore, I also want to land a contract there for the former Florida Gator. Might not have known that. Jonathan Jones, solid. Jalen Miller, I mean, rest of the quarter room's a little less than spectacular. Free safety, the veteran McCourty. We're going to need his replacement. And then at strong safety, even though we do have Phillips there, it is going to be the Kyle Duggar show. Special teams, we have, I guess, let's go with the younger kicker, potentially Quinn Nordine. We'll get rid of the old man, Nick Folk. Jake Bailey at punter is fairly solid. And for our draft picks, I think that's the best thing about landing here with the Patriots with Mac Jones is like, a lot of times when you see a team with a quarterback, if it's not, you know, the Jags, something like that, it's like they've traded a lot of picks to get their quarterback. The Patriots, Mack Jones just fell to them. So we are going to have our, you know, premier picks for this rebuild. And I think looking at this upcoming draft class, wide receiver might be the area we want to go first and foremost here. Taking a look at the prospects. What do we got at wideout? Olave, Garrett Wilson. You have the 2 wideouts there from Ohio State. Treylon Burks from Arkansas. You have the 2 Alabama wide receivers here in John Mechie and Jameson Williams. I think George Pickens, Justin Ross, Drake London, Jahan Dotson. Got really about 9-10 names that I would be pretty happy with. But in terms of first rounders, I think either of the Ohio State wide receivers or Treylon Burks should be our target. I think that kind of fits what they're trying to do here in New England. Burks could be that second swing at the big body possession guy. They didn't really hit on N'Keal Harry, unfortunately, but we have plenty of options. But wide receiver, I think, is going to be the premier position that we look at addressing with that first round pick. But we still got to get through the 2021 season. So without further ado, let's see how Mack Jones and the guys can close this year out. Because we started in season, we don't really have control of our scouts. So while our, you know, the efficiency for our national scout is linebackers, again, I think we just need to commit to the wide receiver spot being the position that we really want to focus on. And the first mock draft has been released. Let's see who the Patriots are expected to be selected. And hey, I'm 100% down with that if we can find a way to land Chris Olave from Ohio State. So we're here about mid-season very quickly. We're up to 4-5, not too shabby. Second place in the AFC East. Don't know if we have enough on the roster, enough in the tank to catch the Buffalo Bills in the division, but we can be competitive. And we beat the Panthers week 9. We have a player of the week performance, and it is going to Dante Hightower. Hates like a fine wine, 14 tackles, a sack, and an interception. Happy to see that from the veteran. But we need to talk about contracts. I'm actually a little worried about how much salary the Patriots have, just because I know they spent so much in the last offseason. But we do need to prioritize, I think, first J.C. Jackson. So let's see. We don't have, you know, a bad amount of salary cap. Let's give him a 4-year deal. Just under 50 mil. He wants, of course, a little bit more money. I think Trent Brown, also very important. You want your offensive linemen really just to run them into the ground. It's so hard to replace him in the draft. He wants more money. Sheesh. Okay. I think Jacoby Myers is interesting. Out of all the wide receivers that have normal dev on the roster, I think Myers is the guy that is the most intriguing. So we'll get him locked up for 4 years. I think probably best to move on from James White. Definitely want J.C. Jackson. Definitely want Trent Brown. I wish it wasn't a 2-year for Hightower, but at this, we don't have his replacement. We don't, you know, I feel like that just gives us that 2. And then with that 2 years of regression, he still should be like low 80s at the end of that contract. That's not too bad. We got a 1-year deal for McCourty. Again, another spot that we just don't really have a successor there. So I think extending McCourty, J.C. Jackson, and Trent Brown should still leave us around, you know, $10 million or so in free agency to land a solid depth piece here or there. Plus, there's a lot of contracts we might be able to get out of before the offseason starts to add a little bit more money to our war chest. So the end of year 1 for the Patriots, and look at the team ranks. I'm actually surprised how bad the defense kind of slacked up here. Not a bad defense, and you don't see those kind of numbers historically from a Bill Belichick defense. Offensively, I mean, hey, almost top 10 passing offense. That's pretty good. Means it was working. We finished second in the AFC East. Well, tied for second. 7-10 with the Dolphins. I think 7 wins for the Patriots this year is not, I don't think it's disappointing per se. I think that's, you know, right in line with where they probably are going to end up finishing. So I'm not too upset about that. Looking here quickly around the league, anything crazy? I mean, I'll see Tom Brady up there, especially for a Patriots rebuild. Definitely a little frustrating. We got 2,000 rushing yards from Derrick Henry. 9 picks, Trayvon Diggs. I mean, nothing else there is too crazy. Let's look at our own stats. I'm interested to see how Mack Jones finished it out. 13th in passing yards, 16th in touchdowns. It's not brutal. Interceptions are a little high, but still 70% completion percentage. We can work with that. It's not a bad year. It's not a great year. It's not a bad year. James White was our, you know, majority of the time was our leading rusher, and we inherited that. Damian Harris, 500 yards, 14 touchdowns. Definitely going to have a bigger role next season as our outright starter. From the receiving standpoint, hey, Aguilar went over 1,000. It's not bad. 1,007 for Nelly. 9-4 for Bourne. 8-11 for Henry. Almost 8-7 for Jonnu Smith. I did have Jonnu Smith lining up in the slot, but I mean, hey, we can make it work. Maybe we don't need to trade him. Maybe we can find, like, that's the way to have this all work out. Treat Jonnu Smith pretty much as a glorified wide receiver, which he kind of is in a certain way. maybe we can make it work. But again, if a trade can be had, we'll explore all of our options to make sure we can put the best team on the field next year. Duggar led the team, 118 tackles, 7 TFLs, and a sack and a pick. 10 sacks, Matt Judon, 7 for Vinovich, 5.5 for Uche. And on the interception front, 3 for Hightower, 3 for JC Jackson. Maybe, just maybe, especially seeing those numbers, should have paid up a little bit for Stephon Gilmore. Quick look at the yearly awards. MVP went to Josh Allen. So within the own division, a quick look at the AFC just to see if we have any Patriot Award winners. It's not looking the best. Mac Jones was the runner-up behind Trevor Lawrence. Not too bad for the guy he did not have to trade up for. Then for the rest of the positions, I don't think we're going to see any doing a Patriots, which we don't. So first year's out of the way was kind of a predictable, I guess, for the way the Patriots are playing in real life so far this season. But now here comes the fun. It's time for the offseason. We cleared the lockers. Kind of a weird Super Bowl. I mean, maybe not the Ravens. Ravens killing it. Lamar Jackson MVP, but hey, I think Saints fans would be surprised if old Jameis Winston could lead them to a Super Bowl. Well, let's see if we have anyone that went up a dev trade. Looking at the stats, I'm not expecting it. I don't know. Maybe someone on the defense, but offensively, not seeing anyone go up a dev trait, so that's fine. Not expecting it. On the defensive side, Barmore had a hidden dev. He's up to a star. JC Jackson, I suppose, going up to superstar. That must be a brand new dev trait. I don't think he was superstar before. Let's double check the progression. He did earn a superstar dev, so hell yeah, go. That definitely helps. The fact that we're able to extend him, get him a brand new contract. Him going up dev trait helps with the loss of Stephon Gilmore. But now, look at that. Available salary cap. Less than $1 million. Maybe it's going to be a quiet free agency period. We're going to have to just crush the draft. Mock Draft 2 has just dropped. We've, gone up a couple spots. Still landing in Ohio State wide receiver. And again, I think between Olave and Wilson, we'd be ecstatic with either one. All right, we're going to free up some money. Now, the thing about Nelson Aguilar is that stat line that he had last year, for a realistic rebuild standpoint, I think if you had a guy that got 1,000 yards, even if he's making 17 mil, I'll tell you right now, we're going to keep Aguilar because, that was a good year. He has chemistry with your young quarterback. Why, really go in and mess that up? I think for a rookie quarterback to find a guy that has 72 catches, almost 1,100 yards, 7 touchdowns is important. But we know it's Nelson Aguilar. He's 29. If there's a wide receiver or a big-time free agent, and we're going to need to make that $17 million, I can justify releasing Aguilar, we'll do it. But for right now, I think he did enough to earn his spot. For the rest of the team, though, always looking at different ways that we can kind of, trim a little bit, give us a little bit of wiggle room. I don't want to touch anywhere on the offensive line. I think we can get Anderson here. That's about $2 million that we can put back into the war chest. Even Guy, I feel like there's another $2 million. We can find a replacement elsewhere. That's expensive for Godchow. Got to kind of eat that contract. Linebacking core. You got Van Noy. We can let Uche take over for that spot. Even though he's a Bill Belichick guy. I wasn't overly impressed with Van Noy, especially from production. Wasn't anything special. Joanne Williams. There's not a whole lot of money. That's only $700. Okay, we got a little bit of spending money. So in free agency, I have a strategy. As you can see, I spent all of our available money. Here's what I'm thinking. There's 2 players that interest me. We have Juju Smith-Schuster. I know we're still targeting a wide receiver in the draft. And we have Aguilar on the roster. And we have Myers. Myers may be more so a long-term play. But, and I think big picture, because Nelly had that big year last year. But Myers, Juju, if we can get Juju, and then whatever wide receiver we decide to pick in the draft, if there even is one, they could all be gone by the time we pick. I like that, but there's no other bids right now. We only had $18 million to spend and offer him, and a fair offer was $30, so I'm not expecting to get Juju, but you never know. I've seen crazier things. But Carlton Davis, we need another corner. We currently are the top bid, but we will find out into week 2 if we sign Carlton Davis or not. And if we don't sign Carlton Davis, we can come back with a more competitive offer for Juju and add him to our wide receiver room. Okay, this is weird. We got declined on Carlton Davis, but Juju took the low ball offer. Really wants to come. Wow. I offered almost half of what the fair offer was. Missed on Carlton Davis, which kind of stings, but we got Juju at a cut rate discount. So we'll save the rest of that money. It's not a lot. It's $11 million. Let's get our private workouts in. So I think we should just, again, focus on maybe the top 2 wide receivers. I don't think we're going to get both. Wow, Burks is falling. What? Okay, so we'll get Olave, Garrett Wilson, and I also think middle linebacker. That's in spot. Or we go D-line. There's going to be someone that could fit our front, which, I mean, there could be. Leal, he's going to be out of our range. Let's get a linebacker here. I want a middle linebacker. Let's throw it to... Let's go Dean, man. Dean, really good. That should not be... You know, he should be considered maybe a potential first-rounder. We'll grab him. So Dean and the 2 wide receivers, we're going to bring them in for private workouts, get that much more information, and try to target these guys in rounds 1 and 2. Here we go. Pick 8 in the 2022 draft is on the clock. Bill Belichick knows what he needs to do. We got Juju at a discount. Pick of the litter at wide receiver. Who looks the best from due diligence? I will say this. Just annoying that, like, I wanted wide receivers. I did literally everything I could to focus on wide receivers. I'm still just at 60% completion. If you're watching this, you're a dev, for the love of God, make it a little easier. I don't want every bit of information. I want a little bit, though. So Olave, 4.52. He's fast. We got Wilson here. What we got for speed? 4.39. I think that's where we're going to go. At this rate. I mean, Jameson Williams didn't do as much due diligence. He's a burner as well. Formerly of Ohio State. Went to Alabama. 4.37. A little bit faster. I'm thinking... Let's just go with the top guy, man. Do we need the speed? We need the speed. More than I think about it, like, we don't have speed. Like, I think Olave might be the slightly better option, but we're getting a little more speed with Garrett Wilson. That's who we're going to draft. Garrett Wilson, hidden dev, 94 acceleration, 92 speed. Don't know his rating. Got to wait to the end there. Again, just a pitiful amount of scouting done, even though I brought him in for a private workout and everything. But we're happy with the selection. There is the connection that we hope can bring this team to a Super Bowl. Mac Jones to Garrett Wilson. All right, I want to go linebacker. We have 2 linebackers here. We have Owen Popo from Auburn. Zone coverage. For good athlete. Actually, a little bit better, surprising. We did Nakobe Dean. He is full out as a day 3 talent. Zone coverage as well. Pursuit tackling, not particularly good. Okay. Well, I mean, all the thing is dictated. Let's go Popo from Auburn in the 2nd round. Come in there to learn a thing or two from Dante Hightower. No dev trait. Great athlete, though. You got to be on the field enough that dev traits shouldn't be hard to come by. I want to grab a defensive end. Fits our front at this point. Not seeing a lot of big boys, you know. Tyreek Smith, UDFA. I think more so we look along the inside, and, you know, it's been a little bit of... We meme a little bit Washington football team and their ties to Alabama, but I think, you know, Patriots are kind of right there. I think we got Phil Mathis. He goes by Phil, but it's Fidarian, whatever. Fidarian, that's a dope name. We're going to go by Fidarian Mathis in the 3rd round. Normal dev, don't know the rating, but should be fairly good. Man, I get it. I'm using custom draft classes. Made it. I don't really remember the ratings because it was 3 weeks ago when I finished this draft class. But, like, at least I know kind of from name value, like, they're going to be not busts. Like, when I get to, for the Eagles franchise, when I'm using generated classes, it's a complete shot in the dark for half these picks. There's just no real good information, solid information to go off of to be like, that guy's going to be a stud. For a little bit of draft recap after our, you know, premier selections, which I'm happy with. Garrett Wilson coming in 74 hidden dev. That'll do. We have Popo, who's coming in 70 normal dev. We didn't get any other hidden dev traits after Garrett Wilson, so that's a little bit annoying. We have Phil Mathis, 67 normal. Not bad. Merlin Robertson, 67 normal. We got Sam Williams, 67 normal. We got Dante Still, 62 normal defensive end. We got Smith, the kicker from Syracuse, 72 normal. That was a great value pick for us. And then we finished with the draft for landing Charleston Rambo, the Oklahoma transfer going to Miami, giving us a little bit of speed there in terms of depth wide receiver. But a little light on the dev trace, but we still got our pick of the litter when it came to the wide receiver. So you throw that with Juju Smith-Schuster, and I think we're going to see a big, big uptick in performance and production from Mac Jones in year 2. All All right, so we have a chance now to kind of set our scouts. Let's get the former player, Richard Seymour. We have an option to get a tier 3 scout, help him out on the defensive line. Our current scouts, just again, shifting with the dynamic of the team. So we're going to go on the defense. That front, we want to make sure we figure that out. No shots at Mathis that we just drafted, but outside of Barmore, I don't know how optimistic I am with that front three just yet. So between Chris Long and Seymour, both former Patriots, hopefully we can kind of figure that out. We will double dip here on D-tackle. So let's send Lulu Hernandez. I assume we'll just throw you... well, obviously, we gotta wait. Let's wait and see what the strength of the draft class is before we even bother with that. Got a wide receiver mentorship. I assume this is going to be for Garrett Wilson. What is... Oh, wait. Oh, what? Classic Nelson Aguilar. You know? Just spent the first-round pick on a wide receiver. And like, hey, how about that guy that's been a bust? I know a thing or two about being a bust. Let me take him under my wing and show him how to continue to suck. Then again, let's be fair. Aguilar, clean slate in this rebuild. First year, pretty good. For opening a day squad, look at the devs. All the dev traits are looking pretty damn good across the board here. I do think one thing I may want to try to explore right away is a Jonnu Smith trade, because right now we still have Jonnu Smith in the slot. And I mean, could it be an Aguilar trade, potentially? Maybe we explored an Aguilar trade. He's coming off 1,000 yards. Went up a dev trade, I think. Was he normal last year? He might have actually went up one. That's just to see what the market is. I wouldn't look for anything crazy, but maybe we can flip Aguilar for a middle linebacker to come in with Popo, or some depth at corner, potentially. Maybe that's where we could go. But other than that, defense remains essentially the same. Uche will have an opportunity to start at right outside linebacker, taking over for Van Noy. Like I said, the rookie Popo. Middle linebacker, see what he can do. Learn a thing or two from Dante Hightower. Could be the last ride for Devin McCourty. Don't know how many more years he's getting from me. I'm excited to see now the new superstar J.C. Jackson and what he can do. Hopefully he's a big-time baller for us. But ultimately, it falls on the offense. We added Juju. We added Garrett Wilson. Will that, combined with Mac Jones, give us playoffs in year 2? Should be close. So I couldn't find a trade partner for either Aguilar. Like, it just nothing made sense for Aguilar, given his contract. And I guess let's give Jonnu Smith an opportunity when he's not our slot, just straight up as the backup tight end, what kind of production he can make. Because Juju Smith-Schuster clearly should be the slot wide receiver in our offense, which lets us go with Aguilar and Garrett Wilson on the outside. Hopefully we figured that out. Hopefully we did not make a wrong decision here in terms of our depth chart for our receivers. So our scouts have been assigned. Let's figure it out, man. Chris Long. We're looking for great reports from Chris Long and Richard Seymour, but it is the real prospects are back. Targets for what we want to do. I think it has to be on the defense. Maybe running back. Maybe. I mean, again, we'll see what... It's a strong running back class. Bigsby, Bijan Robinson, very elite runners. So if, you know, Damien Harris doesn't do much this year, that could be something we consider. But I think it's on the D-line. We have Van Ness, Harvey, you can go Cansey, Murphy, Redmond, Jeff Coate, all look, Brissy, Dexter, Tim Smith, Pickens even. And then you look at the edge rusher. I mean, we're going to be... Unless things go terribly wrong, we're probably not going to be able to select Will Anderson, but edge rusher as well. Find someone that can play on the other side of Josh Uche is another, you know, very valid strategy for us this season. Drew Sanders, Funa, Herbig to a degree, could probably rush a little bit of the passers. Those are really interesting fits, but I do think it is all around the defensive line and getting after the quarterback, upping those sacks from a year ago. The first mock draft has been posted. These are always just kind of interesting. Like, what does the game think? It's usually the game is terribly wrong. For the New England Patriots, we are currently projected to just get a tackle for some reason. Isaiah Wynn does not exist, and or Trent Brown. We're here at our Week 10 bye, and we are absolutely crushing it this season. 7-1, running away with the AFC East. Coming off a Week 9 victory over the Chargers, where we had a Player of the Week performance for Mac Jones. Did get sacked a lot, but 4 passing touchdowns. Congratulations to him. He's on fire. Absolutely on fire at this point. Let's take a look at our contracts here. In terms of players that we don't want to hit the open market, we have McCourty, Jones, Bailey, the punter. Ugh. Okay. Well, I know right off the bat, Isaiah Wynn is getting a contract. Maybe that's why we were projected to get Paris Johnson, because they were thinking we're going to let Isaiah Wynn walk, but that's not going to be the case. I think, honestly, though, everybody else is kind of proven. I want to see what Winovich can do. Can he get double-digit sacks? If he can get double-digit sacks, I'll have no problem paying him. Same with Damian Harris. Can he be a 1,000-yard rusher? Double-digit touchdowns. If he can, improve that at the end of the year, we will re-sign him. I think Aguilar, you know, thank you for your service. We have a good punter. I mean, might as well get the punter for the... Might as well get him for the remainder of the rebuild, I suppose. Right? Get him. Don't worry about it. Kind of set and forget. Jonathan Jones, one-year deal. I think one-year deal is fine. We don't have his replacement. We don't have a lot of depth at corner either. McCourty, again, don't hate the idea of a one-year contract if he'll take it. If not, we might have to just prioritize grabbing a safety in the draft. But yeah, Winovich, Damian Harris, and I can even argue Devin McCourty. We're going to wait till season's end to talk about contracts again. So at the end of year 2, found a way to make the playoffs. I'm going to be actually hopping in on the sticks. I do want to experience Mac Jones' first playoff game. Maybe get a good read at how good Garrett Wilson is at wide receiver for our first round draft pick. But 12-5, our first AFC East title. Fairly easy. Did slip up. Couple games down the final stretch that I thought we should have won. Then we ended up losing. And it's never fun when you draw Lamar Jackson for your first ever playoff game to try to figure it out. But there is one coach that I feel comfortable in, like, you know what, maybe you'll have a hell of a game plan to stop Lamar. It would be Bill Belichick. So, looking at our stats here, looking around the league, huge year for Matt Ryan. What? Brady's still slanging it. Jonathan Taylor, leading rusher. Some other, you know, I like seeing J.C. Jackson with 6 picks. That makes me happy. Tied with J.O.K., who should be a Philadelphia Eagle. But looking at our individual stats, Mac Jones, not amazing. Kind of similar to last year. 4,300 yards, 30 touchdowns, 18 interceptions. So it didn't really take his game to the next level. Damian Harris was solid enough. 1,200 yards, 11 touchdowns. Don't know if that's good enough for me to potentially ignore the, like, because I mean, what if a Tanks Bigsby, or what if Bijan Robinson is there? But that's also not bad. We will revisit his contract. If it's reasonable, we can keep feeding Damian Harris. If not, we have our options. Receiving, huge year from Juju. Excelling, great money there. 1,200 yards, 11 touchdowns. Another 1,000-yard receiving season for Aguilar. 8-6 for Hunter Henry. 6-5 for Garrett Wilson. And yeah, you're just not going to get a lot of production of 2 tight ends in the sim. Unless I would figure, you know, be like, oh, maybe if I switch to playbook. I would assume the Patriots playbook would be the most open to having 2 tight ends be productive, which is just unfortunate. So at least we now know we have maybe a trade piece here in Jonnu Smith to send elsewhere. On the defensive side, Hightower, 116 tackles, 4.5 sacks. Hell of a year from a veteran. 10 sacks, Judon. 7 from Winovich, 10 TFLs. I think even that, Winovich, that's probably worth re-signing. His contract wasn't ridiculous, and that is okay production. And then in the back end there, J.C. Jackson, 6 interceptions. Would be pretty dope if he can get started to superstar last year, superstar to superstar X Factor this year, and kind of come full circle and being the replacement for Stephon Gilmore in our secondary. 3 picks for Jones, 3 for Jalen Mills, 3 for Kyle Duggar. Quick look around the league, seeing how everyone else performed. Lamar, we got the MVP in our first playoff game. Awesome. So hyped for that. Unreal. All right, award winners. Let's just more so focus on our own squad. Garrett Wilson came 3rd place for Offensive Rookie of the Year. Not too bad. And then for the rest of these awards, I'm not really expecting to see any Patriots outside of J.C. Jackson, who's the best defensive back. And now I'm expecting him for sure to go up a dev trait, especially because last year was kind of surprising. This year, not surprising. Should be able to achieve it, but I just want to have a little bit of fun here. Let's hop on the sticks and see what we can do in Mac Jones' first playoff game going against the reigning defending NFL MVP, 2-time MVP, Lamar Jackson. Nothing crazy here. We'll just play the moments. And we actually did beat the Ravens in the season finale. So that's a little bit interesting. Oh, I just want to play a little bit of offense here. If that's not too much to ask, as we are in a hole. But I want to get a true read for this team, especially for a sim team. I think another one of our issues here, and I've already said after the last rebuild that we failed, in year 5, we're going to be playing our games because I can't rely on the sim. But I do want to get used to this team in the sim, get an idea, like, are they good? Are they reliable? Are they trustworthy? Or are they completely hot and cold? You never know what you're going to get. Mixed bag kind of deal. And one hell of a pass there to Hunter Henry, by the way. Needs to be known. I would love the team to actually finish off the drive, which they do to get the touchdown. It's just not looking like Bill Belichick's game plan to stop Lamar Jackson is exactly what we need here. 3rd and 1. We got Damian Harris who is looking for a new contract. It would be crazy if he could have a huge game here today. Did we even get the first down there? We did. Nice. Going to the red zone. We will come in here right before the 2-minute warning. Clock's not running. It is third. I don't like that play. Let's go Pats Verts, I suppose. Yeah, let's do it, man. Juju knows a thing or two about getting open against the Steelers, and he brings it in. Juju Smith-Schuster kind of reinventing himself. Fizzled out a little bit near the end. The whole TikTok thing. He hasn't recovered from the whole TikTok thing there with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And he's been outstanding for us here. But it's just looking like, man, we can't keep pace with the Ravens offense. And it's a tough assignment, man. Stopping Lamar. I mean, Baltimore is a playoff team. Really good defense. And it would have been nice not to be one and done, given that we were one of the best teams in the AFC. But at least we know in this rebuild, we're not going to go down year 5 swinging against the sim. We're not going to have any of that nonsense. We got, you know, Mac Jones felt pretty good. Didn't really see Garrett Wilson any, but okay. Let's build on this. Let's build on this for year 3. And we did lose to the eventual Super Bowl winner. That is back-to-back Super Bowls for the Saints. Super Bowl losses, but Lamar, it was just Lamar's year, man. And that's going to happen. And I'm not super upset that happened because I'm going to look at this and we're going to have an X factor for J.C. Jackson. There's no way we're getting robbed there. Looking at our squad, Juju gone up to superstar. So looking like a tremendous free agency signing. Glad we pulled the trigger. Garrett Wilson, hidden dev. Okay, what is a star? Maybe slightly underwhelming, but, you know, it's not bad. Oh, come on. How do you go dev trade last year but not this year? Dude. DB of the year. Tied for interceptions. No dev trade. Last year was an okay year. 3 picks. Goes up dev trade. Stop being so random. All right, last chance to negotiate. I think Darian Harris and Vinovich both are worthy of a slight contract extension if they want to take it. They want to be here. So Davey Harris is buying in. 2-year deal for Vinovich. I don't actually hate that too much. So we'll go something like that. 2-year, 22 mil. That's a lot. But, you know, TFLs, double digits for, you know, you combine them. TFLs and sacks. Have McCourty here. I feel like if he will take a 1-year, that's fairly expensive. But, come on, man. You got to finish out your career with the Patriots. He does. We'll let Nelly walk. For free agent, had a little bit of money. Didn't want to go, you know, absolutely insane. I was really thinking about Kareem Hunt here for a second. But we did just re-sign Harris. Let's give him a chance, at least another year. So our contracts, there's just one that kind of screams out to me. Given our need on the defensive line, I think Dex Lawrence, perfect scheme fit, could play really any of the 3 spots on the front. So we're coming in with a very competitive offer here, and hopefully we can land his services and have all the rest of that other salary cap carry over to next season. Nice. We did get Dexter Lawrence. Nice. So now it's time to pick our private workouts, and now looking at our roster, we're kind of for sure going on the defensive line, but now I'm a little bit more open-minded. We could use a 3rd wide receiver. Still need a defensive end. Could go middle linebacker, could go safety, could go 3rd corner. So whatever's going to kind of be in our range in the early 20s, I think that's where we're going to best spend our private workout points, or whatever you want to call it. So looking at the wide receivers, that was the first spot. Mims could be available, honestly. I don't know if I want to actually burn a spot there. Defensive line. Someone like Van Ness, scheme fit. Let's get him. I think on the other side, Redmond is worth it as well. Actually, you know what? You know what I like more than Redmond? I think if someone like Dexter is still there, that could be huge. Maybe a little bit get a Gator bias there, but whatever. And then 3rd corner. I'm not actually having a scheme fit here. What about free safety? Is there an early scheme fit? Not really. So I think we'll just grab a corner. Let's go. We won't go Gator by. Let's want a long range outs guy. Let's go Eli Ricks, 6'2", 195 from LSU. There we go. Again, heavy on the defense. Let's take a little gander. Final mock draft. What are the experts saying? What's Mel Kiper saying here for the New England Patriots? Go down here a little bit. Unfortunately, 1 and done. We have Justin Ibogabi from Alabama. Not a bad fit, honestly, but because we were able to land Dex Lawrence, defensive end slightly falls, you know, a little bit down on the preference for this first draft pick, but it's not a bad one. At least it's not like something stupid, like a, you know, wide receiver again or a quarterback. So honestly, looking at the board right now, clock is ticking. We have our pick of choice of running back because we just signed Harris. It might not be the Bijan or Tank Bigsby rebuild just yet. I think, given the fact that we have a corner that we've done our due diligence on here in Eli Ricks, could probably bring the whole corner room together. B catching, B man, B press. Not really a zone cover guy. Good speed. I think we got to go corner here. I feel like this is going to be the safer picks. He's hidden dev, which is great. 94 acceleration, 93 change of direction, 90 jumping at 6'2", 92 speed. Good pick. Still have an option to potentially draft the successor for Devin McCourty. So we're going to double up here in the second year. We're going to get DeMarco Helms, safety from Alabama. Yeah, let's go, hidden dev. Safety from Alabama, 6'1", almost 200 pounds. The Alabama pipeline to New England continues. Look at some of the running backs here. I mean, that's a slip there. I don't know what's going on with Dye. Down 73 spots. I mean, Goodson from Iowa, that's going with more so the name value than anything. What do we got? 4.50. Not a lot of information on any of these running backs. I suppose we go with the faster one. We have McClellan here to stick with the Alabama players. But again, 4.5. Jerrion Ely from Ole Miss. He's probably going to be the fastest available. 4.29. And what's Dye? Dye's quick. Brothers in the NFL, linebacker, 4.5. I think we got to go Ely. Just add some speed. I mean, with speed like that, he might have a dev trait. Third, fourth rounder. Don't think he will. Does not. Normal dev. That's not as fast as I thought. I was prepared for him to be faster. So overall, draft recap from year 2 draft. Good haul, man. 2 hidden devs to make up for the only 1 hidden dev we had last year. Eli Ricks and DeMarco Helms. We got Jerrion Ely, great speed. We got Forsythe, the center from Oregon. We just kind of got some O-line depth here. Parks from Clemson. Keandre Coburn, nose tackle from Texas. And we just finished up grabbing Graham Mertz, a little bit of a project quarterback backup for Mac Jones. But very excited about the ceiling for both Eli Ricks and DeMarco Helms. 74 hidden dev and 71 hidden dev. Taking a look at the Patriots here in year 3. We know we have potential to get dev traits. Juju Smith-Schuster went up 1. So I think the next logical one is having Mac Jones take another step in his progression. He's kind of been fluttering around, 30 touchdowns, you know, high teens for interceptions. If we can cut down the interceptions, get a couple more touchdowns, he might be able to play himself into a dev trait upgrade. Rest of the offense, I'm excited. We still got Jonnu Smith. I just almost feel like at this point, I mean, there's not a lot of crazy value. Like, what position, like, what upgrade are we going to get by moving on from Jonnu Smith? Like, are we going to get able a better wide receiver? Probably not. And then you look on the defense, it's like, all right, you need a middle linebacker, but I don't really want to give up and propose a second-round pick from our first draft. So I think it's just best to keep all our players as is. We welcome Dex Lawrence there in free agency to really solidify that front 3. Rick's our first-round pick, will be our corner 3, but he's going to be corner 2, at least in terms of being on the outside. We will have Jones there in the slot. Helms will get to learn from one of the best safeties ever do it in Devin McCourty. So we have his successor in place, and I'm excited to see just how this team continues to progress. I'm worried about, obviously, with Hightower. Judon's getting up there a little bit. Vinovich up there a little bit. And the guys on the offensive line, they're starting to hit that age threshold where the regression is probably to kick in pretty hard after this season. So I really do want to get back to the playoffs and maybe go on a little bit of a Cinderella run. Here at the bye week in year 3, we have the worst offense in the NFL, even though we almost have a 90 overall offense. Defense is top 5 points per game. You know, I honestly don't really know what to tell. 89 offense, and it's the worst. All right, contracts. It's just going to be probably one of those just turn it and burn it type years. Got a lot of big names here. Hunter Henry has been very good, so I think he's very much worth a 4-year extension. I think Shaq Mason, again, pretty much the mantra for this offensive line. We only got 2 years left in the rebuild, so let's get him locked in for another 2 years. Onwenu, another 2 years. 3 years for him, absolutely. Wants a little bit more money. I think we're going to pay him. I think Kyle Duggar's been fairly solid at strong safety. Get him locked in for the remainder of this rebuild. Now it comes tough decision. I think we could probably move on from McCourty, spend that money elsewhere. We probably can free up a spot there at corner and look for a slot in free agency or maybe even the draft. I think Uche's been okay. maybe slight overpay, but it's just another, more so I don't want another hole that we potentially have to fill there on the defensive side of the ball. Hightower, another guy, probably should try to get a little bit younger at that position. So Owenu, get him locked up, and we handled our business. And still plenty of money to play with in this offseason. I actually kind of want to bring it live here for the end of year 3 because it looks like the winner of this game will make the playoffs. One team's a lot better than the other, but I have noticed a lot of winnable matchups. The Patriots have been losing, and year 3, we don't even make the playoffs. 88 overall offense, finishes as the 30th offense in the NFL. Okay. Just an off year, I suppose. Just burn it. Burn all the film. Never existed. Mac Jones continues to throw interceptions, man. We might need to think about moving on. I mean, his contract's coming up sooner than later. And it just hasn't been good enough. Okay year from Harris. 1,000 yards for Henry. Okay year from the receivers. Nothing too crazy. Flip to the defense. Ricks, hell of a year for a rookie. 113 tackles, 2 picks. 10.5 sacks from Vinovich, 9 from Dex Lawrence, 7.5 for Judon. And McCourty led the team with 3 interceptions. So I'm happy with Ricks. Just this offense, man, completely fell flat. Have to think some of that is on maybe the playbook. But you gotta figure most of that is on the quarterback. It just hasn't been good enough. Ricks was runner-up for Defensive Rookie of the Year. For the rest of the individual awards, I don't think you're going to see any Patriots. Just was... I mean, a former Patriot there in Eric Rowe, but that was just a really bad year. Let's just, you know, pull a Men in Black, haul that pen out, look into the light. We're going to forget that year 3 ever happened. Let's get into year 4. To close out year 3, the last we're going to talk about, Super Bowl went to Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers over the Kansas City Chiefs. But is there a silver lining? Do we have anybody that went up a dev trade? I mean, again, I might get a good roll of the dice. There's a little RNG on the defensive side of the ball, but nothing happened on offense, and we really needed Mac Jones to go up a dev trait, and it looks like nothing happened on defense, and Ricks, who was hidden dev, is a star. Helms, who was a hidden dev, is also a star. Dang. So for free agency, it's year 4. You know, we don't do Super Bowl or bust, or we just spend all of our unnecessary cap space to get upgrades for the sake of upgrades. But when you have someone like T. Higgins, you're looking for a 3rd wide receiver. He is a scheme fit. That's a little too good to be true. So he came with a really competitive offer to leapfrog the Giants there. And with Dante Hightower kind of, you know, regressing into free agency, the veteran Eric Kendrick is still there. I think this is it's a scheme fit. I feel like that's usually the easiest way for a realistic rebuild to justify a big money signing, is at least if they're a scheme fit. It's not like I'm just trying to sign the best player who is completely fitting, you know, a round peg in a square hole. This year makes a whole lot of sense. And Eric Kendricks knows that this team's primed. Last year was a mulligan. This team is primed to bounce back in year 4 and go on a deep playoff run. He is still chasing his first Super Bowl ring. T. Higgins was smart. Eric Kendricks can suck it. Ahead of the year 4 draft, which is really the last important draft. These are the guys that could actually develop as the rookies and contribute year 5. We are looking for a slot corner, so I have 2 corners there. Percy McDonald, J.D. Ellington, and then because we missed on the Kendricks at middle linebacker, we're going to look at Frank Myrick, middle linebacker. Final mock draft has us selecting whom? Is it one of those corners? Is it perhaps the middle linebacker that we selected, and it's actually a 5'8" wide receiver? So there are the players. We have the corners. We have the middle linebackers that we've scouted. Myrick didn't get the full 100%. We don't really have any meaningful stats for him, which is unfortunate. He does look pretty damn good. The combine drills, the parameters that you look for, are ticking all the boxes. And I looked at a couple of these corners, and these guys actually weren't particularly great. Devontae Coates actually looked like the most intriguing guy. Absolutely crushed it at his pro day. The thing is that we already have at least... Oh, this guy's good. I feel like this guy's going to be the better of the 2 options, but I need a middle linebacker more than I need a 3rd corner. So we are going to select... Frank Myrick. Come on, give me the dev trait. Give me the dev trait. Yes, sir. Frank Myrick. 90 acceleration, 87 speed. Hidden dev. Welcome to New England. Fortunately, at this point, it's just a shot in the dark. We do have one player that we did have for a private workout in Ellington here, the corner. Let's take a shot. You know, literally I have one little tidbit of information to go off of. Normal dev. Hopefully the base rating's solid. Okay, draft recap. See what the ratings look like. I also want to double check that corner that we decided to pass on. Oh, that corner we did get kind of stunk. We were able to get a 72 D tackle here in the 3rd round. Alfonso Thomas. Rest of the draft was just meh. But we hit on our first pick. Frank Myrick, hidden dev, 74. Absolutely going to be a plug and play starter for us. But the corner that we were deciding on, I believe he went to the Buccaneers. And it was Coates, 76, hidden dev. So either one of them would have been good picks. I was hoping maybe late 1st round into the 2nd round. We did have a top 10 pick. I could trade up for Coates. He went pretty quickly. It's a star dev, so it doesn't sting too much. But at least we knew, no matter what, that first pick, we were going to hit either way. So year 4, our team is, I mean, same thing as last year. Our team is absolutely stacked. We brought back every single starter. Everyone got better. And then you throw in the fact that we're able to get the prized wide receiver from the free agent class in T. Higgins. Signed up there. I mean, we just, okay, that should be enough for Mac Jones to take his game to the next level. Defensively, Myra comes in, leads the defense, needs to dominate there. We have Helms taking over from McCourty. You know, still lacking a little bit at corner 3. Couldn't find one. But ultimately, I think the first 2 corners, you know, having Ricks, having J.C. Jackson, that's going to be good enough that that 3rd corner's not going to have to worry too much. The biggest thing is, can Mac Jones finally have a good season? So the midway of year 4, feeling pretty good, 5-2. First place in the AFC East. The Jets do look pretty damn good. Players we don't want to hit the open market. I think we have a decision to make at the quarterback spot, which I think it's fairly easy to make. But let's start with Juju. He's been very good since we signed him away from the Pittsburgh Steelers. Definitely want to keep him there. We have David Andrews again. The idea of let's just ride our linemen into dust is paramount here. We have Mac Jones at quarterback. It has been the Mac Jones rebuild. Might as well stick with him here yet again. He's been solid. Just gotta, for the love of God, cut down on the turnovers just a little bit. I think we should give Barmore a deal as well. He's been solid. Not spectacular, not lighting up the stat sheets. And then everyone else, like Judon, we got Vinovich, Jonnu Smith. I think those are all positions that save our money and explore what kind of upgrades we potentially have in the final free agency period. Close the year 4, nice bounce back year. Last year was just an anomaly. We finished 11-6, first place in the AFC East. I believe that's our 2nd AFC East title of the rebuild. I just want to see not horrific interceptions from Mac Jones. That's all I want. Not going to be too critical. I don't need to be an MVP. Don't have him having 100 friggin' interceptions. So he finished 18th in yards, 9th in touchdowns, 34 touchdowns, 12 picks. So definitely just cutting down. Okay, glad we gave him the contract. Running the ball, 1,200 yards, 11 tutties for Damian Harris. No 1,000-yard receivers, but hey, it's nice seeing Garrett Wilson, a little bit of the belle of the ball in terms of real prospects for this rebuild, finishing first on the team in receiving yards, 7 touchdowns as well. Okay years from everybody. It was just a solid wide receiver room. No star really emerged. Myrick, our first-round selection, 115 tackles, 14 TFLs, 2 interceptions. Get 8.5 sacks from Judon, 7 from Vinovich. Both these guys set to hit the open market, so hopefully we can get an upgrade there. 4 picks, J.C. Jackson. Let's look right here. I want to see Myrick's depth chart. Star. It's a star, so it's really the same in terms of value of prospect as that corner we decided to pass on. And I guarantee Myrick probably got the defensive rookie of the year. Let's take a look here. Yearly awards. MVP went to Derrick Henry. Coach of the year went to Frank Reich, who's in the division now. Derrick Henry, offensive player of the year. Chris Jones. We got got beat up by Earl Whiteside, D tackle. Myrick coming in there at number 2. Who won NFC? Was it the corner? Actually, it wasn't. Myrick's brother. Oddly enough, that corner Coates way down there at number 6. Either way, I feel good about that selection. And our team put it together. Mac Jones putting it together, which is good. Doesn't have to peak right now. We still have 1 more year of the rebuild. But it'll be good if we can do a little bit of damage here in year number 4. We start things off. Cincinnati Bengals in the snow. I mean, both these teams are used to pretty terrible weather. So it's not like we're playing like a Florida team or anything like that. Not like we're playing the Dolphins. So they got Joe Burrow. We stole away T. Higgins. A little bit of a revenge game for T. Higgins. This is a team that didn't want to pick up a second contract for you. So let's absolutely abuse them if we can. 7-7, everything to play for in the second half. You know, hey, I like our defense. If it comes down to a defensive battle, I'm going to like our defense more than that Bengals defense to make the final plays when we need to. Bengals able to get a touchdown late after doing nothing for the second half of the game. And here we go on our drive. We missed the field goal. It goes to overtime. Can we make it this one? Come on. There we go. Schmidt, the kicker. I knew it. We drafted a kicker. It was going to come back at some point and be of value to us. As the Patriots knock out the Bengals 17-14. An okay game from Mac Jones, over 100 yards for Damian Harris. Divisional round, 85 overall, Kansas City Chiefs in their backyard, led by one Patrick Mahomes. Oh, this is gotta be like, come on. You can't, I think as soon as you go down 2 touchdowns to the Chiefs, it's probably game over. We got down to the 1, had to settle for a field goal. It's pretty disappointing, but we're playing pretty good defense. Holding Mahomes, 10 points. It's not bad. You hold Mahomes at 10 points, you need your offense to carry the rest of the slack there. This is against an offense that they're getting 24. They're never going to get less than 24. So your defense needs to know that, and your offense needs to also know that. And we have a chance. 3-10. We're holding them at that 24. Third down, red zone. What are we doing here? We're going to lose it. We settle for the field goal. Oh, they turned it over. And we still aren't getting points. That is absolutely pathetic. From the offense, we hold Patrick Mahomes to a 45% completion percentage, and our offense just failed to capitalize on any momentum the defense got us. But that is a defensive victory, 26-24. The Patriots are going to the AFC Championship game. In the AFC Championship game, we have the 12-5 Tennessee Titans. Let's get a preview. Let's tail of the tape. What do they got in terms of X Factors? Have been making moves, signing big free agents, developing players. Henry is X Factor. Jeff Simmons, Rashawn Evans, Harold Landry, Kevin Byard. They've drafted Keely Ringo, and Jadeveon Clowney has found his way back to Tennessee. It's a pretty damn good squad there. As we welcome Mike Vrabel, student, master, who's going to win. I'm taking Bill Belichick every day of the week. I mean, we got to run the gauntlet. Wow, Tannehill's looking old. Those frosted tips, bro. Just, you know, buzz it. Buzz cut city. We strike first. Tennessee does get an instant touchdown right back. They're going to have probably a lot of momentum in this game. But you know how you stifle momentum? Just keep burning them up and down the field. Keep Derrick Henry off the field. You don't let Derrick Henry have a big run and get the crowd back into things here. Second half, come on, we held them to 10 in the first. Let's not get fatigued. Let's put them away. They're a team that can't really play from behind. They want to be front runners. They want to be able to kill the game off with Derrick Henry. Move the change, and this is looking like Bill Belichick had a masterclass at stopping Derrick Henry, getting back to the Super Bowl. What do we do? I actually want to see what we held Henry. Mac Jones, great game, 277, 3 touchdowns. Do we have Derrick Henry out over 100? We did. Look at that, 59 yards. That is why we're going to the Super Bowl. Super Bowl Media Day, Bill Belichick, acting like he's been there before. What would a win mean? It would mean everything, because you never know. This is the last, Super Bowl for Bill Belichick. We got 10 staff points, cool. But the bigger thing is the opponent, the Chicago Bears. They got Roquan Smith. You know their quarterback is Justin Fields under center. You know he's developed nicely. It's a battle of 2021 QBs. Looking at what they got. So they got Khalil Mack, still a veteran, X Factor. Roquan, Jalen Johnson, Darnell Mooney, Malachi Moore, Allen Robinson, D4. It's an older roster. It's an older roster, and Justin Fields is still on a star dev. That's a little bit weird, but a very winnable matchup. Just look at the team difference and overall. If we can win a Super Bowl in year 4 and play with house money in year 5, we've yet to win a Super Bowl. We've done 2 realistic rebuilds. We've made Super Bowls, yet to win one. So I think, how Patriot of a Madden rebuild for them to be the team that finally wins the Super Bowl. The team that's historically won every Super Bowl ever, actually, if you look into it. But on a serious note, winning that first Super Bowl post Tom Brady, having a chance to win 2, I think would be exactly what you kind of want to have for Mac Jones' legacy out of this rebuild. And that is a hell of an opening drive and finishing with a touchdown. We're back into the red zone. I'm gonna big screen it here. I'm gonna get it a little bit of preview mode. I feel like this is gonna be a good chance to win a Super Bowl. We need a Super Bowl pretty badly, but also I'm recording this at 1 a.m. Lettuces have been consumed. I think I'm very much at this point going to be a hindrance to this squad, as shown by what is almost a near interception. Luckily, we should still be able to get some points, which we did. Yeah, that's the last time I'm coming in. No chance. I'm not sabotaging it. It's Friday. It's Thursday night. There's an in-service tomorrow. So that means I'm just chilling. No, you know, the kids going to the grandparents. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean? Instead of going to school, late night for Dado. But I, you know, want to get this rebuild done. And I'm feeling like we're going to be able to see this one out. I'm going to hate if there's a scenario that I might have to get on the sticks. 4th down. They're on the 1. Let's go. This could be a way to win it. I can't remember the last time I've won a game on defense. But this could be it. Justin Fields. Come on, baby. All out blitz. All out blitz. No! And of course, they went for it and got the 2-point conversion. If we don't win, it is impossible. Instant touchdown! Instant touchdown! Yes! I was about to say it's impossible to win a Super Bowl simming in Madden. Absolutely impossible. Haven't seen it done before. And I gotta see who got that. Whoever got that, I hope it's Garrett Wilson. I hope for his sake it's Garrett Wilson. I'll take anybody. Walk-off touchdown. There's no way Justin Fields would dap up Mac Jones like that. But Mac Jones has done it. Look at that sight. Look at that. That's a screenshot and a half right there. I got to figure out what that is. That's, regardless of what the game says, got Super Bowl MVP. That was, I don't know, that would have been a kick return. That's how quick it looked. There's another kick return. It could have been a Damian Harris 80, 75, 80-yard touchdown run, something crazy like that. But there we go. Mac Jones has done it. I'm actually going to give credit where credit is due. There was that meme that like EA never changed the Super Bowl animations. This looks really clean. I'll be complete. That looks really good, actually. Phenomenal for screenshots. Hopefully someday, main channel franchise, I'll have a reason to do that. But outstanding game. Mac Jones, 300 yards, 4 touchdowns. He most likely is the MVP. Who got that touchdown in overtime? What was it? Like first play? Damian Harris. So there was a play to set up a 1-yard pass. So there was a 99-yard play at some point. Let's just see who had the longest play. Was it a rush? No. Longest reception. What? Was it a kick return? 25 or a kick return. I don't even know what happened. That looked like a 1-2 play drive in overtime. Maybe not. I don't know, but I'm absolutely taking that. House money. Patriots are Super Bowl champions, and we have a chance to kind of rekindle this dynasty, win another one in year 5. I just got the Xbox achievement for winning a Super Bowl. So that is our first Super Bowl that I've won in any of my rebuilds of Madden 22. Wow. It was in an online league, I guess, so maybe I've done it before in offline leagues, but okay. It's almost Halloween. I was actually looking at players to re-sign from winning the Super Bowl. Vinovich went up to a superstar. I feel like since he's been here since the beginning, well, you know, at least offer him. Feels like a success story from this defense. So for the final free agency period, I kind of want to throw a little storyline in here. It is going to feel a little more of non-realistic rebuildy. But for the 5th and final year, it's going to be the final rebuild of the Patriots. Why not act like it's going to be the final year of Bill Belichick? He won another Super Bowl without Brady. He says, I'll come back for one more if we can run it back. So why not get 2 of his former players to say that, you know what, got to go try to help coach win one last one. So we got Stephon Gilmore trying to bring him back, and Chandler Jones. It feels like forever ago he was on the Patriots. But 2 former Patriots trying to run it. One more Super Bowl for Bill Belichick before he heads off into retirement. And of course, they were going to be on board. Gilmore and Chandler Jones are back. Final draft, going to be completely honest, scouting was bad. I don't think I had a single player that was above 50, so I just simmed it out. We got a 68 corner, 73 safety, hidden depth. Tavares Beasley. Shout out to the sim for hooking me up there. Didn't need to. Won the Super Bowl. Decided to double dip. To defend our Super Bowl title, Year 5 Patriots line up as such. Offensive line is made intact the entire rebuild. We still got Henry, Higgins, Juju, Garrett Wilson. Harris has been solid. Mac Jones coming off his best season, 86 star. But struggling to get the QBs off dev trades. I really do think Madden probably should add in a dev trade scenario for the quarterbacks. I don't think that currently exists. On the defense side, Vinovich went up dev trade. We brought back Stephon Gilmore and Chandler Jones for one last run. Myrick was outstanding as a rookie linebacker last season. And, you know, we're back. We're primed to make another run. We're very, very similar to the Bucks this year in real life, where we won the Super Bowl and there's barely any roster turnover. And to close out year 5, I was very certain that we were not going to make the playoffs. It was phenomenal effort. It's like a Super Bowl mentality type effort. This team tried, tested, true. Very inconsistent season. Some wins, some losses. And then I was like, all right, 2 wins, 2 losses. Staring down the barrel of a pretty competitive division. We got 3 straight wins, divisional. Picked on the Jets. They were last place, but we get a meaningful victory against the Dolphins, who are a playoff contender for most of the season. And we're able to punch our ticket back to at least try and defend this crown. And we meet the Titans here in the opening round through the wild card. Taking a quick look at the stats. Huge year, Russell Wilson, Matt Corral up there. Michael Thomas dominating. Thibodeau, Myles Garrett, Aaron Donald get used to seeing that. Very quick look at our stats and awards here in year 5. Mac Joe, what? Terrible year for Mac. His worst year of the rebuild. Way to have it, you know, in the 5th season. Harris was outstanding this year. No dominant receiver. Fortunately, on the defensive side, we were just a really good defense. Popo led the team. 115 tackles, 16 sacks. Vinovich, hell yeah. A little bit of a late bloomer. Only 5 sacks for Chandler Jones. Not great. Interceptions, we got 2 for Gilmore, 3 for Jackson, 3 for Duggar, 2 for Myrick. So it's not like we got that massive feel-good fairy tale ending story by adding Chandler Jones and Stephon Gilmore. They were just okay. Looking at the yearly awards, it's a lot of Cleveland Browns. Okay, whatever, man. You know, we got Bill Belichick, and if this is Bill Belichick's final playoff push, you know there's going to be some magic. Good news is, as we take on Derrick Henry, looking to beat the Titans back-to-back years, we're playing with house money. We have a Super Bowl title. I will hop in when I see fit, but it's not going to be like before. Last couple rebuilds, I said, like, if we go to year 5, we don't have a Super Bowl, I'm playing every game. There's going to be no sim. Luckily, this game's like, hey, C4, I know you're working late. Been working late all night. I'm going to give you a little bit of a house money. You don't have to worry, bro. I'll help you out. You finally building the best team in the league will actually yield you a Super Bowl title. And hell, actually, we might go on a little bit of run here. In the bad weather. Maybe there's a couple tuck passes here or there. Doing an outstanding job. You figured this would be a game that Tennessee Titans would thrive in. Just feed Derrick Henry. And, you know, pretty much put guys on skates. They couldn't do it. Clean game from Mac Jones. 24-14. The Titans can just not beat the Patriots in the playoffs. So pretty much every team that was good last year was good again this year because we're playing the Chiefs. And Patrick Mahomes definitely is looking for revenge. Last year, we held them to 24. That's the magic number. Hold them to 24, you'll have a chance to win. Missing extra points. That is not Super Bowl, Super Bowl hot girl shit. That is something that teams that don't win the Super Bowl end up doing. And look at this, man. They are just starting to pile up. I don't know. This last hurrah, I think, might end at Arrowhead. Maybe not. Get a quick score here. Play some defense. 3rd down, get a stop. Could not get the stop. 3rd down drives just kept extending. As soon as the Chiefs get a 3, it's the first digit in the score. That's when they just go nuclear on you a little bit. 3rd down, it's coming on one play. Heave it up. 3rd and 8. Deep attack. Maybe try to get it to Wilson. The bell of the ball. At least we thought he was. Okay, that one didn't work out so well. What about this one? 4th and 15. Harris pass, bro. Stay in the pocket. Mac Jones, pink slips legend. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Garrett Wilson, let's go. I mean, hey, it's garbage time at this point. Trying to do anything. Come on, man. This is a very disappointing effort from the team. Knowing that it's Bill Belichick's final hurrah. You're just dropping passes. Showing that you're not an athlete, Jacoby Myers. Moment was too big. It's not Robert Woods. Okay, we got Wilson again. Maybe I just try to force feed him here. So he will be matched up linebacker and a safety. That's another drop into an interception. Well, it's times like this that you're not triggered as you close this one. I mean, the Chiefs are a really good team. Never really going to be upset from a sim standpoint when you do lose to the Kansas City Chiefs. But we were playing with house money. We got a Super Bowl. Let's kind of wrap this one up. Looking at the career of Mac Jones, what he did through 5 years. So 1 Super Bowl, our first Super Bowl. I will take that even with a disappointing season. And through 5 years, Mac Jones, 21,000 passing yards, 142 touchdowns, 73 picks. So about 2 touchdowns for every interception. That's not bad. Damien Harris was solid in this rebuild. Consistent, no real dominant year. But, you know, it seems for more often than not in Madden 22 Sim, your running backs are consistent. Juju was really good as a free agent signing, I will say that. Hunter Henry was consistent. Garrett Wilson, I mean, you know, 4 years in, 3,000 yards, you know, less than 1,000 yards a year. Just, I mean, we weren't really a prolific passing offense. I think that's kind of a part of it. I don't want to throw that in Garrett Wilson. If there's another realistic rebuild where we do bring in Garrett Wilson, I could totally see him getting dev traits, him going off, him being a wide receiver 1. This wasn't the right situation here in New England with our offense. Defensively, you know, no one really, I mean, Vinovich was a little bit of a late bloomer. I mean, Barmore, Uche, not a whole lot there. Duggar was solid. I guess J.C. Jackson was really good. You know, kind of how it played out. We didn't really control Gilmore. He left, came back. But he had to step up and replace Stephon Gilmore, and he was really good. Had that year, he had 6 interceptions, tied for first in the NFL. That was pretty cool. Eli Ricks, you know, just like, I'll be honest, our big college real players never really panned out. But we won the Super Bowl. That's kind of weird. And the other rebuilds, the guys that we get in the 2022 and the 2023 class have been the stars. We have no Super Bowl to show for it. This was more of a team effort. No one was a true superstar, and we won a Super Bowl. So maybe that is the method to winning here in Madden 22 as far as sim teams go. But very good team. Happy with the rebuild. 88 across the board. And we have our first Super Bowl in the book. So thank you guys very much for watching. As always, your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. Would love to hit 150,000. I think we're almost at 149. So we're very close. We're in the home stretch now. That'd be awesome. We can hit that sooner than later. Leave a like. It's all I ask for on these videos. They help out the realistic rebuilds in the YouTube algorithm. And let me know in the comment section below what team you want to see me rebuild next week. I'm leaning towards maybe 2 realistic rebuilds next week. So feel free to even suggest 2 teams you would like to see. And as always, for the realistic rebuild suggestions, always throw a college player or 2 that you would most like to see featured in that rebuild. For to close out the weekend, gonna have some Eagles episodes. So I'll see you guys then. Thank you very much for watching. And until next time, it's C4 saying peace out.